Name of the talk is, we're building the best money technology that has ever existed. So stablecoins make it obvious that crypto is better money technology. I think anybody can see that today. The on-chain transaction volume of stablecoins was almost $21 trillion last year, which is surprisingly more than almost 50% of all of Visa's transaction volume. Stat pulled out of Masari. So stablecoins move dollars faster and cheaper. I think anybody who's ever been in a bank at any point in time in the last decade has seen this viscerally, right? It's time, it's hours of operation, it's fees, it's everything across the entire stack universally. But it's not just dollars, right? Crypto moves value faster and cheaper. Crypto moves value better. Crypto rails are strictly better money technology. So if you look at the landscape of settlement times, of transaction fees, of anything that touches dollars today, it's night and day. You look at Layer 0. Layer 0 has sent roughly $110 billion across its rails. Average transaction time is something like, your median is probably 18 seconds or something these days. And fees are measured in cents, certainly sub $1. So crypto rails are better money technology, but what happens when you combine all of this into a single standard, into a single rail? And what you get is the best money technology. Introducing the OFT standard. OFT allows you to take a single asset across any chain universally. Any asset, any form of money, any location, all in one seamless experience. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter what the chains are. It doesn't matter what the underlying asset looks like. And it is fully programmable, meaning that you have as expressive an option as you can express in any VM or smart contract. And this has been used by issuers time and time again to create things that are incredibly different in terms of what they look like, in terms of what money looks like. And this is from everything from your most permissionless, immutable form of asset to your highly regulated traditional finance, full of compliance and rate limiting and everything else that goes into it, all built on one single standard. So one of its biggest benefits is it's cheap. I think with any system, as you're recreating it, or building a better form of it, you have to make it significantly less friction. And yes, as I mentioned, this is time, this is availability, but it's also fees. So these are multiple transactions, one moving about $1.4 million for 1 penny, and one moving, roughly $3.8 million for 1 penny. It doesn't get much cheaper than that. Now, sovereign, which is really important, something that has mattered a ton to us and has mattered a ton to asset issuers. So when we were building, we were extremely opinionated in how we built this standard, and the fact that there was no way that the largest assets, the largest applications, and the largest financial institutions are going to hand over write access of their ledger, their asset, whatever that is, to some third-party validator set. So our entire stance was, you have to give them the ability to own it themselves. Some people won't. You have your smallest assets or devs who are just messing around for fun. They're going to want to delegate that. But having the ability to completely own it end-to-end sovereign, you look at what CCTP, what Circle's done with CCTP, Layer 0 gives you the ability as an issuer to issue your own CCTP on immutable rails that have been deployed in production for 3 years plus, that have had hundreds of billions of dollars moved across it and that have been used widely across the industry, and you can do it trivially easily. And these are groups like PayPal, like Ondo, like BitGo, among many, many others. So sovereignty matters. It's mattered to us. It matters to the issuers a ton. Borderless. I think one of the most interesting things about crypto itself, one of the things that drew me in, so I've been in crypto since 2011, was first touch, but really heavily from kind of 2013, 2014 era on, is the fact that you have the beginnings of a truly different global financial system. And the example that I'll give here is the state of Wyoming is issuing a stable coin, issuing that stable coin on top of Layer 0. They're using the OFT standard to move that everywhere. But you have a US state issuing a form of currency that is going to be accepted globally everywhere, right? And that just couldn't happen not very long ago. I think even just in the last talk, they were talking about how much of the world, Tether has sort of like touched in kind of this unbanked or underbanked and sort of exposure through Tron and everything else. Like Tether at $166 billion is at a huge impact on emerging markets. And again, the fact that technology is borderless as an underlying is a massive unlock. And then the other thing prior to this slide is programmable, right? You can have a fixed asset. The expressiveness of smart contracts allows you to build something that is extremely powerful and plays the diversity of what the issuers need. So one rail, any asset, every chain. OFT standard, so I said Layer 0 has done about $110 billion of volume moving across its rails. The OFT standard alone has done about $50 billion. There's $70 billion of assets secured. We're up to almost 140 chains now. 342 assets built on the OFT standard alone. These are everything from Athena, from Tether's USDT, Frax, PayPal's PYUSD, the state of Wyoming's Wyoming stablecoin, commodities like XAUT0, which is gold, WETH from EtherFi, Ondo's USDY, WBTC, to native gas tokens of chains. This is Aptos, Say, Plume, etc. All of this built on top of one standard, and that velocity of transactional volume, even if you jump back a year ago, was not even close. Today, right now, we're doing $5 to $7.5 billion per month, and that is growing very, very, very quickly. Assets like USDT0 just launched, and they're at about $7.5 billion alone. So that's like rapidly accelerating. They're only on their first couple of chains. So again, this is a strictly better form of money, and the underlying technology allows you to do something that you could never do again. And so I will just stress one more time, I think all of us know the nature of having fully open markets, of having things that are available 24/7, that are permissionless to interact with, that are extremely low fee. What you have the ability to do now is you have an asset that before you had all of these fragmented ecosystems. And if you ever looked, I don't know if anyone ever played with arbitrage over the last kind of 5 years and change, but there's a lot of like pretty stark opportunities across chains just because it's so hard to get the money there to take advantage of it. You have like wide spreads, you have large discrepancies between asset prices. Now you have the ability to move, $300 million for something like 60 cents, right? Like market makers, exchanges dealing with inventory issues, all of this now has the ability to move incredibly seamlessly, which means the friction, the opportunity cost of needing to keep inventory, the cost of rebalancing all trends to near zero, which means you have significantly more efficient markets. You have the ability to capture all of these opportunities, which means you'll arb these spreads down to sub-cent spreads in terms of any sort of dislocation. And this is going to make better markets, and again, strictly better money. So we are creating the best money technology that has ever been made. Crypto laid the rails for this. We're doing our part with OFT to build this expressive layer on top of that. It is blown away my wildest expectations. The adoption has been incredible. The acceleration has been incredible. It is moving hundreds of billions of dollars today, and this is largely stablecoins and digital assets. It will be moving trillions of dollars in the future because this is going to be every asset that exists. Thank you so much.